You must unlearn what you have learned. That was in a pretty famous movie. I'm more of a visual guy. Always liked books when I was younger with pictures and stuff. But the point of visual is exposing spots, places with visual evidence everywhere on this realm. If there was a book of common sense, none of the historical narratives would be in it. That's also the case through mainstream today. Basically, everything they present is not fact. It's just a stage, and we live on it. How does a society have so much, then destroyed, and when you're born, hold the opposite? How was this indoctrination so fast and worked so well? But the lies aren't perfect, because it was all right here in front of us. I was talking to somebody recently, and when you're exposed to all this and dig deep and look for yourself, the fear is kind of gone. And fear is the enemy. That's what they use against us on every aspect of life. They say people don't change, and that's somewhat true. We change, but always keep to our true self. Just try to be yourself even through all of this, and it usually works out to the better. Promise I'm going to get to the guts of this video here shortly. I've got couple of channels, some boots on the ground I'm going to show. Pretty extraordinary stuff as usual. I'm going to try to pack in a lot of stuff in this video from all over the place. So this video is probably going to be all over the place. I do think the veil is lifting, and it's just unstoppable now. There's just too much that doesn't make sense, too many narratives that are completely dumb. So anyway, let's cruise on into this evidence, and you can decide for yourself and what makes sense and what doesn't. Welcome. I recently came across this channel, The Wild Man Guys. Came across it from a person in the community, Deborah the Red Brick Chick, one of my favorites. And he is in the coastline of the UK. I can't express how much I appreciate people doing this boots on the ground with things that people don't normally see. This place is pretty incredible. I've only found maybe a couple pictures online of this certain spot in the UK. It's just an incredible sight. To the normal eye, you would just really be confused on what's going on here. How about that archway? It is just tremendous. And it seems like the whole building, what they call Mother Nature, is melting on itself. There's really no other explanation I can even think about. Some would say, well, they just blocked up or bricked up certain spots. It might have been a cave tunnel and it's too dangerous to go in there. Well, that's just crap, because you can see with your own eyes what's going on here. Makes no sense to build that all around this rock, inside, outside. Just the scope of it is pretty insane. So here we have our friends from Tartaria, Japan. Great work. Lots of boots on the ground. And here we go. What exactly is going on here? Would you ever construct a bridge, a building, anything like this? I'd say no. Leftover old world. You don't go up to a boulder, if you're going to call it that, and construct concrete brick block work on top of the non-flat, non-level rock. But just looking at all the destruction here, and you see what looks like used to be brick, morphed and changed in an event. You have everything leaning. And speaking of leaning, look at this top block. It's leaning over the rest of the structure. How does that do that? With weathering or any kind of narrative they put on it. And you scroll to the bottom. Look at this stuff just gooping over, changing directions. It's changed the state of matter to whatever it looked like before, which I always say it's mostly brick and mortar. But nobody would ever do this, especially however long ago they say. This thing is just melted. The top is just so revealing, just gooping over. Alright, where are we going to go here next? Let's see. Oh yeah, the app. So a couple of years ago, I got a rock identifier app and decided to get my melted brick samples and just see what it would say. Honestly, I think it's very accurate in what it says that they are. At least what we're taught in the geology realm. You know, you have those apps with the plants and trees, and I've used them all the time, and they're pretty accurate most of the time. It might give you a couple of choices depending on how big the leaves are and such, but here Joshua got together some of my picks here. I appreciate it, and asked a few questions in a geology group. Confused, and they came back with, well, these apps aren't very accurate. This one especially, don't waste your money. And that's what they said. I'll definitely disagree with that. I think these are pretty accurate. Now we're going to step into the realm of Ukraine. Just want to thank James for these shares. It's the, what you say, chiseling narrative, right? Nice little Ukrainian hobbit door here. Nice little window. So what we're going to do in this desolate land, we're going to bring all our horses and chisels, and we're just going to get right to work. We're going to hollow out all these huge boulders and rocks. It's not going to be a problem. I'm pretty sure this was the uppity up people in Ukraine back in the day. Have nice little sunlight coming through the ceiling here. It's all chiseled out. Now you have to leave here when it starts raining, but you can probably see when it's coming. They didn't have the Weather Channel back then, so. And when you're bored, you can just start chiseling this right here. Right there. This used to be a couch, and the rain and wind came at an angle, and that's why it looks like this now. After years and years and decades and millennia of chiseling out these boulders and rocks, well, they decided that they needed a a chapel or something, and they went somewhere and constructed these bricks and blocks and stuff. But we're not going to put it in the middle here. We're not going to put it down here. We're going to put it on the edge, right over here. And it's nothing. It just goes right through to the other side, and you'll fall off. But that's where we get married back then. Okay, we're gonna make this spot here, and somehow we're gonna climb up here. Maybe we can use some kind of rope we made back in the day and get down here and then hang off and then start chiseling here. It's a great view though. Now this spot, okay, we have to chisel all this up to this point, and instead of just making some jaggedy stuff, around it, we're gonna make these columns look nice and smooth and blocky on the bottom. We're gonna chisel out this window here. See, we can grow some fruit and herbs or whatever right here because the sun hits it. It can be an indoor greenhouse. In America, I think they would call this a gravestone. I'm not sure, just shooting the breeze again. Look at this. Expanding out. And who's this guy? So here what you want to do, after you've gone through about 10 billion chisels, we're going to do archways here to nowhere. They just look really cool. We're going to make these markings too. Chisel all this out. Make a few steps right here. I don't know, it'll take like 225 years or so. I'm not sure. I don't really have the correct documents on it. I mean, all documents are true, right? So I'm a Ukrainian back however long ago, and I got my chisel in my hand, and I follow the leader to this place and get to work. So it's really important once you start chiseling all this out, you just randomly chisel stuff in the ground, right into the rock. Just a few steps here. It was just a thing back then, so you just got to believe it. Don't worry about how melted it looks. That's totally irrelevant. More chiseled out archways. Seems like it's coming down and over. Just an observation. I guess the neighbors got along pretty well. Hey, Bob, how long did it take you to chisel yours? I'm not sure. I'm the fifth generation, and I'm just getting to start to live here. So I think it was my great Ukrainian grandfather that started it. Right on, man. Here's the illustrious chapel or church or post office, just right in the middle of all this chiseled out rock and stuff. And this is very important down here. You can't just walk over this rock, right? You have to chisel these steps. Just a few kind of fade away, but if we had cameras, we could take a nice picture and everything would look nice. Of course, we didn't have cameras back then. Well, supposedly. Yep, that just makes perfect sense. What's this back here? And back here. All right, they went all in on this one. Okay, this is the only column that they chiseled out and left. We got kind of thin up here. I don't know where all the rubble went, but it's got to be dust, right? If you're chiseling all this out over decades and decades. Hey, look, this is where they buried their dog. So this is it's a gravestone, right? They chiseled out a little grave for the doggy. It's probably his buddy over here. I'm pretty sure this is where the Flintstones originated from. Don't quote me on that, but looks like their town. And for the little one, they tried to chisel a window out. Didn't quite make it. I think he grew up before they finished this. Let's see, they stopped here to work on that, but it just didn't get done in time. Oh, my bad. This is probably where all the rubble that they chiseled out, and they started making another community with just the rock. Yeah. And Papa Smurf's home, or Bam Bam from the Flintstones. I'm not sure which one. Okay, have this huge round boulder and another one here. And what's going on here? That coloring in gray is looking like that rock. It's fine though. This is where we're going to put our house. It's going to be difficult, but it's going to be all good. Not sure why you'd spend all that time chiseling this out, and then maybe they accidentally bumped into this with a horse or something, because now all the rain and stuff can get in. It's not going to bode well. You could slip down here and fall, even maybe fall off this little cliff. Just very dangerous. This is great chisel work here too. But on this side, they spent more attention to detail, more time with all this stuff over here, and pretty good squared off, quite big, I guess, window. Now these guys over here, they were slackers. They just kind of just randomly did stuff, and they're like, "Hey boss, here's my window right here. It's for the little ones. They're only this tall, and they can see right out." Okay, we're gonna chisel out a 3-foot opening here. We'll get the step detailers in for a quick chisel here, so it's safe to go up this way. If it rains or something, this could be slippery. So it's all about safety. Melted steps. Or they would tell you just from a bunch of people walking and doing this. Or this was like the game room, and you got here and you jumped and landed here. That's why this was so messed up here. And then you would jump again right here. Or I guess this whole place could be melted. I guess that would be more logical. Okay, I recently saw this boots on the ground from a channel, Amazing PA. One of my favorite channels. These guys do extremely well work, boots on the ground. That they venture into this long, whatever you want to call it, goes hundreds and hundreds of feet. On and on. Nothing but rock. Most of the time, very low ceilings. But then they come to opening where it's about 10 to 11 feet high, which honestly, frankly, that doesn't make sense if you're going to bore through here, chisel it out, blow it up, whatever you want to say, and then all of a sudden you go feet high. So you're walking and walking and walking, right? And then, what is this here for? You have bricked up walls with metal and iron going through them here. But of course, what I like to do is look very closely. Where is supposed Mother Nature Where does it start? Where does it end? And where does the man-made brickwork / rock begin and end? They're just walking a long way, and you hit this, and then it stopped, and then they hit some more. But after looking at it, and I definitely encourage everyone to watch this video, it's quite extraordinary. So I keyed my eyes into this, of course. Here you have the brick all the way down in rows. So here's one almost completely covered by the rock. It drifts into this, and then it's covered. Now, of course, I don't know. In my mind, I think I know what's going on here. However, it melted. Whatever cataclysm there was, this is all expanding, pushing out, and you just have little bits and pieces of survival everywhere because this place is massive. Not talking about just this place, talking about just the whole place everyone lives on. So you have these bits and pieces of survival. Just another incredible place by these guys. I appreciate everybody being here. Peace within.